per activity. So if you're doing a multi-activity event, can you set up guests per activity? For instance, the event may have 10, but certain activities only allow 1 guest.
Sure. Yeah. When, let me go into an event here. You can do that. We'll just test multi-activity event. And we'll say this is a conference, blah, blah, blah. And this will be June 1st, 2023. Oh, wait, that's in the past. And we're going to set as a multi-activity event. So now when we go to who can register, we're going to allow members. And let's say member guest, another member guest, another person in your membership, blah, blah, blah. It's saving, so. Come on.
Most systems are 10 years old. Manufacturers, but
now when we go to activities and items, so we'll say it's going to be a new activity. We'll say conference registration. And this we might want to have open to everybody, right? To a whole bunch of people. So we'll say it's no capacity, there's a fee change, blah, blah, blah. So that's all good. So who can register now? What we're going to say is we're going to allow active members to register. And we're charging $5. And so, oh, actually, we want them to bring guests too. Okay, so for this particular activity, they can bring guests. We're going to do an activity with no guests. And when we set the registration in, oh, wrong one. When we go to who can register, we're just going to say it's the member.
Michael?
Yep.
Okay, so how would so let's say we have conference registration and we set the event registration and fee section to up to 10 guests. If I want the conference registration section to only be the person that's registering and only 1 guest, is there a way to do that without affecting the whole event? So I only need 1 activity with limitations on the number of guests. I did not see a field for that, and that's what I'm asking.
There really isn't. There's not a way to, if you're allowing guests, then you're allowing up to the maximum that the whole event is set for.
Okay, so the next question is, so we have an event and we only want people to be able to register up to X date prior to the event. So is there a way to set activities within a date range so that they won't only be showing on the front end during a specific date range?
You can have them go away at a specific date. Like, you know, this one, yeah, that's the basics. It's going to be under, I just got to remember where it is. Does the fee change after a certain date? I don't see a way to do that for at the activity level to have things go away after a certain date.
I mean, because part of conferences and so forth, you know, we sort of need them not to be registering all the way to the date of.
Right.
If you know, we need to get marketing materials and do things for those sponsors, etc.
Well, yeah, and if it's only at the activity level, then what you're going to do is when that date comes, it's going to be a manual process. You can't preset it. But when that date comes, you're going to go to registration and fees and say, show this activity on the registration screen and say no.
Yeah.
And that
that's
one
the
will
only
no
thing
longer
I
be
found.
available. Yeah.
Okay.
And then people will no longer be able to register for it. It's not like, you know, when you go to the regular registration fees where you can set it required by a close date and then have it set a close date. That's for the whole event.
If you want to, if you want a crazy answer as to what you or go with the most efficient.
Kaliska, you had your hand up?
I do. It's unrelated to events though. So if somebody has an event related question, I can definitely ask after that.
This is Valerie.
Um,
Mine is an event related question.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
definitely wait on my question.
Thank you, Kaliska. I appreciate
Sure.
that. All right, so back to registration. We're setting our people up for our annual fall conference. I know that they have early registration, so I've got it set up so that that's one fee. If they're after a certain date, it's another fee. I've got another layer of complexity, and this is it. The people, the members that attended the reverse trade fair in the spring get $30 off their registration. Is there a way to do that to make sure that we are charging them accurately? Is there a coupon? I've heard that maybe there might be a coupon thing.
There is a coupon, but then it's up to them to apply the coupon. That's kind of
Sure.
becomes the responsibility goes into their hand. Yes.
Which is fine. I mean, which is
Yeah.
fine. I don't mind putting that in the responsibility, because if there's a way for me to transmit it to those individuals that attended and say, when you register, be sure to use your coupon.
Right.
So how would I set that up?
So it's under the money tab. It's under with the module called discount coupons.
Okay.
And the first thing you have to do is create a category. So let's just say this is event discount.
Yep.
Right out of the gate.
And we're going to create a new coupon. And we'll call this event discount. What'd you say, $30 or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you set the activation date. We'll say 6/1/2020. Oh, it has to be in the future, current 13/2023 until 6/20/2020. You get to set the expiration
Sure.
date on it.
Sure.
And it's going to come against event registrations. And you can set the dollar amount to be $30. Oops, that's percentage. Dollar amount $30.
Yep.
And available to members only or non-members. It's totally up to you. But you
Right.
said if they attended what? It was
The reverse trade fair.
okay. So I don't know if that's members only or both or a mix or whatever. But then what you can say is it's only good for event registration. And you can even say it's only good for one event, one specific event.
Correct, which is.
And then you can give them a code and say this code is going to be
And I can create the
reverse.
code name. Is that what I do?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
So you can say reverse trade fair 30 or something like that.
okay.
And then you create it. And then every time somebody puts in the REVTF 30 at their checkout page, then it will apply a $30 discount.
Got you. And then I could limit it to the one use, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And you can set
Thank-
an expiration date. So once it's expired, they can no longer use it, even if they try.
Right, which would be
Yeah.
the last day that we would allow for registration for the event at all.
Right. Yep.
All right, great. And then I'm going to put my hand down if it's still up. No, it's not.
Okay.
Okay, great. And then I'll put my hand up later for something else. Thank
Okay.
you.
So quick question on that discount that you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
Is that per registration or is that per person that registers? So for instance, I'm vendor A and it's myself and I'm registering 2 other people. Do you have that discount per registration or is it just for the one registration with the 3 people?
One registration for the 3 people. So
So you
yeah.
can't connect that to each individual registration.
Correct.
So if somebody registers 5 people from their company, we can only use this for $30 for the whole group, right?
Right. But you could create another discount coupon for them to say, well, event discount 5 registrants or something like that. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it works today. Is it doesn't know how many people are registering. It's just a discount coupon.
Well,
Thank
that would
you.
be good though. That would still work in the event. Let's say I had a registrant or a vendor, not necessarily a member, but if I had then I could literally set up a coupon for every vendor dependent on how many people they are well, up to X amount of people to allow to come with that coupon, correct?
Right. Yep.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
So just to piggyback on that question, if we had one organization that attended and they had 5 people, just to be clear, you said that $30 would just apply as $30 for that group, not $30 per registrant.
That's correct. It's $30 per, basically per registration, which would be a registration is 5 people, so it'd be only $30 from that. So you just create another discount coupon. If they're registering 5 people, send them a discount coupon that's good for 5 people, you know, $150 off.
Oh, okay. So when those situations arise, we have to create a discount tailored to that particular group.
Yeah.
Worst case, but Tina, wouldn't we normally, each person would be registering themselves typically?
Well, I look at our organization. When we attend these events, we usually have 5 to 8 or more people attend.
Right. So I guess then it would be, all right, well then I think we can figure something out, but yeah, it sounds
We
like we
will.
might have to do multiple coupons.
We would have to do a specific coupon for that organization.
Yeah,
You
because
just
we
might
know
have
in
to add a
advance.
couple more letters for that organization so we know who received it.
Yeah, we know in advance how many people from that organization attended a reverse trade fair, so we could easily tailor the coupon for that group.
Here's
Okay.
something else to kind of, well, keep in mind, because you can get creative with these. So with this test event, for example, if we go to who can register, you have other registrant types. So if you have like, let's call it a members of a selected committee, and you create a committee that is not visible, but it is, let's call it whatever that organization is, ABC, you know, purchasing. And you put all those people in that committee, now you can create a special pricing tier just for that group of people.
That's what I thought we were going to do, like create a list for the attendees who attended the conference and just saying reverse trade fair attendees and send that coupon specifically to that group. So when they register, they would have that code.
You could do that, sure. Yeah, but
Right, that's what we'll probably have to do, but then we'll have to look to see if, you know, send out with that email, for example, say, hey, if you intend to register as a group, please contact Valerie so that she can give you the appropriate coupon.
Right.
So that way I can tailor it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Unless you got 2 options.
Yep.
At least you got 2 options or more. Okay.
Yeah. You can get really creative with that because you do have, I mean, you could, some of our organizations, if you look, you know, like we have an advertising agency that uses our platform, and they have a separate member type for every single one of their corporate users. And they use those. So when you have, then you use members by selected member type, and you say, okay, well, you know, people who are from ABC advertising, they get this rate. People from, you know, WXZ advertising get a different rate.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can get as complex as you need to.
Okay.
But they literally have dozens and dozens of member types to manage.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
So Scott, did you want to ask your question?
Sure. I think that I know the answer to this question, but I wanted to just be sure that I was giving people the right information. So when some, you know, a member profile is created or whatever, it asks for their birth date.
Mhm.
And I have a member that wants her birth date to appear on the calendar, like the event calendar. And my reaction was, well, if I have 500 members' birthdays on the calendar, that's going to kind of overwhelm my calendar. But
Yeah.
is that the point of asking for the birth date? I mean, why are we even asking for it, I guess?
We ask for the birth date. The birth date is with professional organizations is totally up to you whether you're going to do anything with it. Some of the chapters actually send out birthday cards for people on their birthday. Most of them that I've seen so far do not, but there are a few that do. But you know, keep in mind that our platform is not just for professional organizations. We have, you know, canoe clubs, and we have, you know, car clubs, and we have a variety of things, and they do track birth dates because for them, it's part of their high touch, membership.
Okay. Okay.
Was that it, Kaliska? Yep,
Yep, that was it. Thank you.
perfect. Tony, you have your hand up?
Oh, yes, I came from another meeting, so if you might, I hope you haven't already talked about this. But during the course of a year, we might have somebody who leaves and it leaves a spot open. So we want to figure out a way how to make that spot vacant so we could give it to another member.
Hmm.
See, because the membership stays with the entity.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out how do I know how to drop the person, but I want to
Right.
know how I could keep that spot open for a new person.
Well, they're going to have the spots. They're you're thinking of it as if there's like a finite number of spots, and there really isn't. So as a person leaves an organization, it doesn't necessarily leave like an open seat. That seat can move with the member. A lot of it, again, depends on how you are planning on managing your membership. So
Right.
the person, when they change agencies, you can determine if you want that person's history and everything to go with them. In that case, you move them to another agency. So it doesn't necessarily cause an open slot in the previous agency, but that previous agency still can go in and add new members because it's a new membership, right? So, I'm not sure if this is a great example. I'm not sure how you guys are managing it. Yeah, you'd have secondary members. So, when a secondary member leaves, if this is Georgia Department of Community Health and they leave and they go to Georgia Department of Public Health, for example, then you have the option by doing a level change to say, I'm going to unlink this person into a solo member. And then when they join the new agency, you can promote or you can link the solo to a primary. Okay. And then that takes their existing membership with all their history and takes it away from their previous agency and links it to their new agency.
Okay.
Whereas, if I work for Georgia Department of Community Health and I'm the primary member, in fact, we can take a look at that. So, Latasha Cole is the primary member, so she can still go into additional members in your account and she can add additional members. So you're not going to see like an empty slot here for a vacant space. Just know that you can have as many as you need up to the maximum that you as the admin set.
Okay, so basically I need to like keep a record when somebody leaves and know that I got an open slot so I can add that person or either tell the primary to add that person. I don't know if I'm making sense, but with the other site that we was using, whenever somebody left during a year, we was able to just make that spot vacant.
Yeah.
Because the membership doesn't go with the member, the membership stays with the entity. So
if you want to do that, you can certainly do that. Let's say, Tracy here were to leave. All you literally need to do is go here and edit it and just put vacant, first name, last name.
Oh, okay.
You could certainly do that, but the history then stays with the organization. So, when a new person comes in and takes that slot and you change vacant to Michael Fisher, then, when they look at the history is going to be Tracy Flowers was signed up as a new member, Tracy Flowers registered for this event, but it's all under the history for Michael Fisher. So it can get a little bit confusing as long as you keep it straight in your head that that you've done this, that somebody else had that membership prior. So the names aren't always going to match.
Gotcha. Okay. I got you. I can figure it out.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Valerie?
All right. My question has to do with the shop feature. Right now, currently on our website, we have our sponsorship set up as an event. And I want to change that so that it's in a storefront so that once the sponsorship has been sold, so to speak,
Mhm.
then it would be X'd out. So now you can no longer register for that.
Right.
And so I wanted to make sure that what I'm doing is accurate. What I've gone to the store, and I'm creating a SKU for each sponsorship.
Okay.
And the number of sponsorships that are available under that SKU. Is that the way that I should be doing that?
If you have sponsorships that people can purchase throughout the year, they're not tied to an event, then
Correct.
I love the storefront for that. What you do then is you manage it with inventory, because the store
Right.
is, it's a number of widgets. So if you only have 2 platinum sponsorships that you can sell throughout the year, you set your
Right.
inventory level at 2. And then when
Correct.
that inventory is gone, nobody else can purchase it.
Right. Okay. So now the question is if I have an event, or if I have if I have an event, I might want to link it to this store for sponsors, or I might want to put it on like our homepage, sponsor, our MPPOA, sponsor MPPOA sponsorships available. How do I link my storefront back to either of those pages?
I recommend doing it from the event is kind of problematic, because an event is a point in time, whereas your
Sure.
sponsorships can be purchased anytime. So I love doing it from the homepage.
Okay.
So just by creating a panel on the homepage that says, sponsorships available or something like that, whatever you want to do. And then you're just going to link it to the storefront module.
Okay. All right. Oops. Go back. I missed that. I was making the
Oops.
note.
Yeah, this is George. I don't want to
apologize.
mess with George's chapter because they're live. So which
Right.
chapter are you with again? Oh, I don't remember.
MPPOA.
Yep.
And
Thank
then
you
can
for not
see,
ruining George's.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can see it. I mean, if you want to, if you can see what we got hooked up right now, and then you could go in and you can see all the SKUs I have available.
So if we switch to view mode and go to test. So we've got sponsor of the year, 2,500, and then breakfast sponsor for 1,000.
Well,
It's currently in test mode.
Yes, those are the ones in test mode, but I currently have.
Oh, I see. You got to put quite a few others. Yeah.
See what I've got? The rest
Yeah.
of them, there are going to be 4 specifically sponsorships for the event, but they can buy them at any time of the year.
Sure.
And so I would prefer that people pick one of these, come January when they have their funds available, than wait until, July when we post the event.
Yeah. What I
Right.
would do, I would avoid using digital products.
Right.
Unless you really, because it really is truly you can purchase as many as you want, right? There's no limit. There's no inventory limit on digital products.
Right.
So
Those I
it's
think were
basically
tests that were set
okay.
before. All the ones you see that I have set for the annual fall conference
Yeah.
are all set as physicals, because I realize that I can then say how many are available for that event.
Yep. You just click on the inventory and you say, okay, we've got 10 of them in inventory.
Right.
Yeah.
And then do I have one of those set up right if you look at that? Because I want them to be able to buy it. So it explains what it is, event sponsor, and it's got the dollar.
And then are members going to be purchasing, or
No.
You think it's primarily non-members? Okay.
It's only non-members that are
Okay.
purchasing sponsorships.
Now, this quantity limit is the quantity that a person can purchase in one transaction. So
Oh, okay.
it's not your inventory level.
Oh, so where do I set inventory levels?
So inventory level is going to be set at this icon here. It looks like stacked boxes. That's your inventory. So this is where you're going to say you have one in stock.
Thank you. But then is that where I
Yep.
put the cost to? No, the pricing, I won't have to do that.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
No, there's no cost and there's no stock cost. So I'm not keeping track of any of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, good. Thank you. I mean, that's going to help. And then I would just go and link to, do I have to link to each of these then?
No, I would just
sponsorships?
link to the storefront module itself.
Okay. All right.
So
All right.
I'll show you how we do that. So I'm just going to create a panel. And oh, look, choose your sponsorship. What is this for? Is this going to an event?
That's going to an event right now, which we're not going to want it to do.
Okay, so we'll edit this then.
Yep.
And I'll get rid of this. And now we're just going to link it to storefront. Which is currently in test mode.
Right.
Choose your sponsorship.
Yep. There.
And now when you go to your home page, choose your sponsorship, it takes you to the storefront.
Okay. All right. So I would get rid of these two test ones.
Yep.
The MPPOA 2023 has already been purchased, so I don't need those. Get rid of those and then put the other, make those quantities available, and then I could go live with those. Is that how we do that then? Okay.
Yep. So what I'll do for now though is I'm just going to make this not visible so people can't see it right now.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready, once you've made those changes, then it'll appear. You can just change the visibility on that again.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Yeah, because
Yep.
then at the beginning of the year, then I can put the entire list of potential sponsorships, and everybody can go to town.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
Michael, there's a question in chat, a follow-up to Tony's question. So let's say a person is leaving an agency and the agency paid for their membership. That person may or may not rejoin with their new agency, and their agency paid membership could be filled by a new employee. Other than manually changing the moving member status, is there a way to mark the member as expired to show that they don't currently have an active membership?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
maybe Don, yeah.
You would do that
Sorry.
the same thing through People Manager. So once you've disconnected them, right? So you're going to do a level change and you're going to say this person is no longer part of this agency. So you're going to unlink them. And then once they're unlinked and they're a solo member, then you're just going to click on active and expire them.
Donna, does that answer your question? Hope so.
That work?
She says, so if they're not a secondary member, we just mark them as expired.
Right. Yeah. You have to disconnect them because if you try to mark them as expired, they may very well mark the entire membership as expired. I haven't tested that, so I wouldn't want to, go down that path, and I wouldn't want to take you down that path and find out that you're expiring all of your active members.
Michael?
Yeah.
On a different subject, is there a way to make an event on your calendar to be the first event that shows at the top of the event column, no matter when the date of that event is?
You're talking about like in a grid view?
No.
When
On
it's
the
list
home
view?
page, when it's list view. I mean, I
Oh,
want to be able to highlight, and I'm sure everybody else here would like that too, to be able to say, hey, this is our sponsorship event. This is our reverse trade show. This is our annual conference. We want to have it right up front, not upcoming events where we have to scroll. Like our chapter has our events on the right side of the page.
Mhm.
And I mean, it takes forever to scroll down to where it is. It's ridiculous.
Sure. So here's what I would do then, is you can do it a couple of, if you want to make it easy on yourself, and I think a lot of us do, go to configure, we're going to go to event categories, and we're going to call this one, I'm just doing this for, the example. So I'm going to say this is a highlighted event, and I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to go to the events manager, and I'm going to go to my test multi-activity event here. I'm going to go to basic info. And I want this one to be highlighted event. Then when I go to,
Wait, what did you select?
oh, I changed the event category to highlighted event. That way it's,
Where?
we go to basic info.
I'm sorry, you're moving really quick, so just
Sorry.
keep
Too much
highlighted
coffee.
event category.
Yeah, I changed the category to highlighted event because I want this one to
Okay.
be front and center prominent.
All right.
And then when I go to the home page, now I can create a widget, or I can, use the existing widget. However you want to do it, it's totally up to you. But I can say, I'm going to go here with a 33, 33, 33. I'm going to take the event widget, upcoming events. But now I'm going to select, I only want my highlighted events. And so I'm going to say, because I'm not very creative, I'm going to say highlighted events as the category heading. So we want container width. Oh, there it is. So go 270 days, apply changes. So now I've got highlighted events here.
Now, can you change that upcoming event title to something else?
Sure.
Okay.
So as I scroll down now, I can see highlighted events. This is the test multi-activity that I'd created. But the nice thing is that even if it's, like conference is important to you, right? So even if you left it with its current category, you can choose which events you want to appear or which categories of events you want to appear in this widget. You can say, well, I want the annual conference and I want my highlighted events. So you can still keep it in its current category. What you don't want, though, is you don't want chapter meetings. So you want to make sure chapter meetings is not checked, or membership meetings, or whatever they might be.
Okay, so basically you're just putting something, an event in that box, and that's basically what you're doing. We're not there, you're not changing it so that in the calendar of up and coming events, which is down lower and by date, that I have a highlighted event in that section that appears first.
Right. All I'm
Okay, thank
doing
you very
is
much.
highlighting the ones that I want to see, front and center.
Okay. I was going to say I don't have a category that says highlighted events, but now I do understand what you're talking about. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Anyone else have a question? Tony, I see your hand up.
Just something that I just want to make sure I'm doing right. When it comes to not allowing anybody to sign up as a member, I think I figured it out, but I just want to hear from you the steps that I need to prevent somebody who's not eligible to sign up for a membership.
Okay. Basically, you're just going to make sure that requires approval is turned on in the member types.
Okay.
And then when they join, the membership director is going to get a notification that so-and-so joined, and then you'll be able to verify their information. And if they don't qualify, then you're going to go to People Manager, and you're going to search for them using a status of prospective.
Yes, sir.
And you'll get a list of all the prospective members. And once you find them and you know that they're not going to qualify, you're going to click on the word prospective, just like you do for all the other statuses.
Right.
And you're going to choose, I think it's decline membership, I think is what it is.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so I did it right. I just wanted to make sure. I just want to make sure I was on the right path.
Yep.
Because it took me a while to figure it out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Anyone else want to jump in with a question?
Michael?
Yeah.
Hi again. Okay, so When I set up an event with an activity description, it fills in the field of the description box, and we have the sidebar that can scroll. However, when it comes up on the front screen for folks to see on the front end of the website, it appears that the description is limited to basically the length across of the description field. Is there a setting somewhere else in this control panel that I can say, make the description for this activity go across the screen so it takes up the amount of room horizontally and not vertically?
Oh, I see. Yeah, so
Do
you
you
want
want
this
to see an example, or do you
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay.
Which
Oh.
website is it?
CFC NIGP.
Okay. What's the date of the event?
11/8.
Michael, we're still seeing the Pennsylvania site, just,
Oh, really? You're not seeing
FYI.
Central Florida now?
Nope.
All right, let me unshare. And
Now
reshare.
we are. That was, yep,
There we go.
yep,
So you said it's
perfect.
November 8th?
November. Yeah. No,
Wait.
second one.
Second one?
All right. So see the details? It's not going across the screen. And it does that for every single one.
Okay, let me take a look here. Yeah, for some reason it's short.
Agreed.
Well, that's weird. All right, why do we have?
Well, I have that same exact thing that has happened on every single activity.
Sure. Yep, I'll bet. I'm gonna see if this helps take care of it. I don't, if not, I might have to get one of my other guys. Say, oops, let me make it important. All right, now if we go back to that event. Did it save it? Let's see. Nope. All right, so I'll have to work on that. I don't
Could
know
you
why
make
it's
a
short.
note, please? Because I don't understand why it did that, and it did it for every single activity.
Yeah, it will, because it's a global setting, and I don't know why it is globally set. But yes, if once I
you
get
go-
it changed, it'll change it for all the events.
Across the board, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Is it doing that with anybody else online or just me?
Oh no, I'm assuming it's doing it for everybody. They just don't have longer descriptions, so they wouldn't see it. Or they just haven't encountered it yet. I'm just making a note here.
Yes, sir.
Questions for you, Tabitha.
All right, I have a note. I will take care of that after we get off the call. That way you guys don't have to watch me try and figure it out.
Valerie?
Sorry, all you people who don't care about shop. So I have a question. So we have three things on there right now that were set up differently, and they're in test environments and or things that we don't need because we've got the test environments. Yeah. And also the digital, which we don't need. How do I get rid of them off of our store so that they don't, when I do go put the store live, they don't show up?
Yeah, you're just going to change their statics to dropped or inactive, either one, dropped or inactive.
Okay. All right. That works really well. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Are there any more questions for Michael? I don't see any hands up. No questions in chat? Michael, is there anything that you can think of that, based on this conversation, that might be useful to show people? Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I am. Offhand, I can't think of anything, but I think, that Michigan brought up a very good point when you're thinking about sponsorships. And I think we've covered it on an earlier office hours, but it's good to reiterate it. That if you have sponsorships that are year round, the storefront is really a good module for people to be able to purchase them. And if you only have sponsorships that are tied to an event, then you would have the sponsorship as part of, an activity as part of the event, because that's what they're sponsoring. So it just depends on how you're going to be using the sponsorship. But, I think this is a great way to do it, to use sponsorships. I think the storefront is it's a great module, and it was just revamped last year. So it's got more functionality than it ever had.
Great. Well, I don't.
Okay,
sorry.
so I have another question.
Yeah.
So when we're doing an event and it's for our members, and there's scholarship points associated with it,
Mhm.
and we have certain timelines. So let's say if somebody signs up between today and Friday, they get, X amount of points. And then if they sign up after Friday, they get a reduced set of points. Does that mean I have to make each of those a separate activity under an event, so that way different points can be assigned for different times that people have signed up?
Yes, exactly. Yep. And it's only
Okay.
because you have different rates, because the points tracking system isn't designed to assign different points depending on when they signed up.
Okay.
So
Thank
you have
you.
to do it through the activities.
Hold on. My next question is there any way to have those points signed? Because when you have an activity, you have saying, after this date, it's a different price. Even if there's no price associated with it, that date cannot be used as a trigger to say that the scholarship points changed after using that date, correct? We cannot use that
Correct.
date.
You're
Okay.
right. Correct. Yep. You cannot.
Thank you.
Yep.
And just one last question. I just want to make sure. So I will have to manually turn on and turn off these activities so that they show up at the proper date and time, right?
Yes. Or made the price so, use the price change so that, and the new price becomes so ridiculously expensive that they won't choose it. But it's probably cleaner just to turn it off manually.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Valerie?
One of our clubs wanted to be completely hands off. So I said, well, just make the price of it, the price change to $9,999. And they did. And nobody chose it after that date. So it served their purposes. It just looked a little silly.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry. One last question about the shop. So I have it in a test mode. How do I get my storefront out of test mode?
Oh, you shoot me an email.
Oh,
and
all right. Well,
it's
then
something that has to be done on our end.
Okay, very good. Well, then I will send you an email.
Yep. And there's no charge for it. It's just it's when the storefront is in test mode, any purchases you make payment is not expected because they're test transactions. As soon as
Right.
the storefront is live, then any purchases you make are expected to be paid.
All right. Well, then as soon as I know we've got everything on the back end ready to accept payment, then I will send you an email.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, if there are no other questions, I guess we will wrap up a little early. If anyone wants to jump in here last minute. Otherwise, we'll say thank you to Michael once again, and we will be meeting again in 2 weeks' time on the 4th Tuesday. So
Yep.
thank you so much, Michael. Appreciate your time.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.